Morning to Dr. Wei. My name is Lim Yi Lam. Metric number is 231X70. Today I would like to present our group presentations. The title is Risk and Performance Empirical Evidence of 5 Construction Companies in Malaysia. Construction sector in Malaysia was contribute a large economic growth in terms of GDPs, and it was growth rapidly due to the support and civil engineering subsector, particularly in the transport and utility and oil and gas area in year 2016. The implementation of the large scale of the construction investment projects such as LRT, MRT also contribute a good positive GDP to the Malaysians. However, construction industry is highly exposed to the variety risks such as financial risk, liquidity risk, credit risk, and macroeconomic factors. So, all the companies should have a good risk management practice and internal control system to identify and adopt appropriate mitigate risk control approach. Malaysia has introduced Malaysia Code on Corporate Governance 2012 and mitigate all the public listed company must apply and comply with these principles. With the good risk corporate governance practice will effectively manage, control, reduce, and eventually increase the profitability of the companies. In our project paper, the 5 companies have an effective board composition and structures, established audit committee for internal credit functions, and perform well in corporate governance. There are the several factors will affect the effectiveness of the management in generating the profits. The first one is the effectiveness of the board of directors. The NAWA and Jinda 2015 carried out a study that how the impact of the corporate governance towards the profitability of the companies. The study found that the corporate governance have a positive relationship with the profitability of the companies. However, in the study of the Wee Mustafa and Abdullah in 2015, found that there is an insignificant relationship between effectiveness of the board and financial board. The second one is the liquidity management. Belek in 2012 studied the impact of the liquidity on the profitability of the construction companies. The study found that the firm's liquidity is negative and significantly correlated with the firm's profitability. The rationale is the more liquid asset a firm holds, the lower the firm's profitability because the liquid asset able to use to generate return. The third one is a liquidity risk. Wee Mustafa and the Shakri in 2016 studied the difference between liquidity risk for the Malaysia Islamic and conventional bank. The Islamic bank in Malaysia have a higher liquidity than the Malaysia's conventional bank because less vulnerable in the securing funds or loans as well as loss sharing based structure in the Islamic bank. The fourth one is a credit risk. The study of the Wee Mustafa and Sukri in 2015 about the specific determining of the credit risk among the Malaysia conventional and the Islamic bank. They found that the liquidity of the conventional bank and credit risk have a negative and significant relations. However, there is a positive and insignificant relationship between the liquidity and the credit risk for the Islamic bank. In this study, we used the hypothesis testing research which aimed to identify how the specific risk and macroeconomic factor affect the profitability of the companies. The sample that we used in our study is the 5 public listed construction companies. We also collect the secondary data, which is annual reports from 2011 until 2015, publication information and the announcement. We also use the SPSS software to analyze our data. We interpret the results by looking at the correlation coefficients, stepwise regressions, and ANOVA regressions. The reason that we use the stepwise method is because the other method does not show any data.
Next, return on asset. Return on asset is the ability of the company in managing their asset in order to gain a return. The indicator on ROA is the higher the better, which is the company is in the efficient in managing their asset. To calculate the ROE, we use net income divided by the total asset. Based on the graph, Kerjaya has a highest return on asset among the 5 companies for the overall 5 years. Following by the 2011, Kerjaya has 0.0598, 2012 0.1792, in 2013 0.1064, in 2014 0.1350, and lastly 2015 0.1018. While for the Eureka has the lowest return on asset for the overall 5 years, following by the 2011 negative 0.02, and then in 2012 0.01, in 2013 negative 0.07, in 2014 negative 0.05, and lastly in 2015 negative 0.004. Next, for the operational risk. Operational risk is the risk which is a loss occur from the failure of the people, process, system, and external forces. Operational risk we are calculate by using the operational ratio, which is using the operational cost divided by the sales. The lower the operational risk means that the company are using less operational expenses in their company. Based on the ratio, in the 2011 and onwards until the 2015, Eureka has the most highest operational risk between the 5 company, which means that Eureka are using more operating expenses in their company. And then, while for the 2011 until 2013, Gamuda has the lowest operational risk, which is the company are using less operational expenses, and for 2014 and 2015, Ecovest is the lowest operational risk among the 5 companies. Next is credit risk. Credit risk is the risk which is the default from the customer in the construction industry. Credit risk, we calculate the credit risk by using the debt to equity ratio, which is total debt divided by the total equity to get the credit risk. The credit risk shows that the lower the credit risk is means that the company are in the better position. Refer to the graph. In 2011 until 2015, Kerjaya has the lowest credit risk among the 5 company, which is the Kerjaya better in the position in managing their credit risk. In the other hand, in 2011 until 2013, Eureka has the highest credit risk, which is the Eureka not in a better position in managing their credit risk. Same in the 2014 and 2015, Ecovest has the most highest among the 5 company, which is in 2014 4.79 and 2015 3.34, which is the Ecovest has a highest credit risk among the 5 companies.
Next, I'll proceed with liquidity risk. Liquidity risk is the ability of the company to meet demand depositor. We use current ratio to measure liquidity risk. To calculate the current ratio, we use current asset divided by current liability, so we get current ratio. The benchmark of the liquidity risk is the higher the better which the company will survive. According to the graph, the higher liquidity risk is IGM Corporation with 5.657, and the lowest liquidity risk is Kerjaya Prospect. Next, 2012, the highest liquidity risk is Gamuda Berhad, 5.654, and the lowest was Eureka Corporation with 0.930. Next, in 2013, the highest liquidity risk is Kerjaya Prospect, 4.222, and the lowest liquidity ratio with Eureka Corporation with 0.855. For 2014, the highest liquidity ratio was Kerjaya Prospect with 5.727, and the lowest was Eureka Corporation with 0.840. Next, on 2015, the highest liquidity ratio was Ecovest Berhad with 3.347, and next, the lowest liquidity ratio was Eureka Corporation with 0.895. Next, market risk. Market risk is the fluctuation in the market. So, we use standard deviation to calculate market risk. Standard deviation for market risk is to measure rate of return of investment of the company. The benchmark of the market risk is the lower the better for the company to survive. Based on the graph, the highest market risk was Kerjaya with 5.8%, and the lowest was IGM Corporation with 1.8. Next, on 2012, the highest market risk was 4.2%, which is Kerjaya Prospect, and the lowest was IGM with 1.11%. Next, on 2013, the highest market risk was Eureka Corporation with the ratio 3.08%, and the lowest was IGM with 1.1%. In 2014, the highest market risk was Kerjaya Prospect with 3.18%, and the lowest was still IGM with 0.93%. On 2015, the highest market risk was IGM with 6.78%, and the lowest was Gamuda Berhad with 1.50%. Next, Alman Z-score is the other alternative to measure credit risk. Alman Z-score is to predict probability of default of payment by using financial ratio. The benchmark of the Alman Z-score is the higher the better, which means the company will survive forward. According to the graph, for 2011, Gamuda was the highest ratio with 1.8. For 2000 onwards, Kerjaya was the highest ratio for Alman Z-score. Eureka Corporation has the lowest ratio for overall 5 years.
Good day to Dr. Ibrahim. My name is Unjanjo, metric number 232666. Today I'm going to talk about the relationship of liquidity, GDP and credit risk to the profitability. By running the stepwise regression in the SPSS, we found that current ratio and ROA has a positive relationship, and the relationship is significant with p-value less than 0.1. This could be explained by the situation where higher ROA generates more cash, and increase in cash level will in turn increase the firm's liquidity. It is important to note that the changes in current ratio has the least impact to the profitability with p-value equal to 0.896. However, for the GDP, we found that the GDP and ROA has a positive relationship, but the relationship is not significant. This could be explained by the situation where economic growth will increase the product's demand by the public, and therefore the company will have more sales, and which leads to higher income and therefore higher profitability. It is important to note that the GDP has the changes in the GDP has the moderate impact on the profitability, with the t-value equal to 1.889. Lastly, for the debt to equity ratio, it has a positive relationship with ROA, and the relationship is significant with p-value equal to 0.000, which is less than 0.1. This could be explained by the situation where the firm managed to earn a higher required rate of return than the cost of borrowing or the cost of debt. Plus, the firms with debt could invest all the capital it got into the productive assets and create more sales in the end. It is important to note that the changes in debt to equity ratio has the highest impact to the profitability with t-value equal to 7.075. From the stepwise regression analysis, we note that the R-square value is equal to 0.685, which means that 68.5 of variation could be explained by this model. Lastly, from the ANOVA regression analysis, we found that among the 8 specific risk determinants to profitability, namely operating ratio, Alman Z-score, index score, board of director remuneration, inflation, current ratio, GDP, and debt to equity ratio, only the debt to equity ratio is significant in this SPSS analysis, with the p-value equal to 0.0000, which is less than 0.1. It is important again to highlight that the changes in the debt to equity ratio has the highest impact to the profitability compared to the liquidity measured by the current ratio and the GDP, with the t-value of negative 7.075.
My name is metric number 232980. Today I'm going to present about the discussion and recommendation and conclusion. In the discussion part, we found that Kerjaya was the best among the 5 companies in terms of the profitability, performance, liquidity, its credit risk, and also the operation. And whereas the Eureka is the worst among the 5 companies. And the SPSS is suggesting to us that the debt to equity ratio is the most impactful variable among all the other subscribers. it has a t-value of negative 7.075, correlation, highly positive correlation with 0.828, and with the significance value of p is smaller than 0.1. And our recommendations are the companies should establish risk management committee, because none of the 5 companies established any risk management committee, and they replaced it with the audit committee. And we all know that the audit committee is not as specialized as this risk management committee. And the second recommendation is to improve the liquidity management, because construction sectors involve a large lump sum of money, and liquidity is that's why more important. We suggest that they should set aside a certain amount of liquidity, but however, maintaining a large amount of liquidity is not a wise choice, because it indicates that you are not investing the money and sacrifice the opportunity to earn extra profitability. The last is to increase the leverage level, because as the results of SPSS telling us, debt to equity ratio is the most impactful variable towards the profitability, and they should issue more debt, which in the end ultimately they could have the more assets to earn profit. Lastly is the conclusion. As the conclusion, we found that the construction sector is actually a risky sector in terms of this credit risk and also the liquidity risk, particularly the credit risk here, because the debt to equity ratio is the most impactful variable towards this profitability, and which thus we come up with all the 3 recommendations we mentioned, which are to increase leverage value, to establish risk management committee,